Taxes, the bane of our existence, right? We all know they're important. They pay for roads, schools, hospitals, the stuff that keeps society from collapsing in on itself. But sometimes, just sometimes, those tax laws have little loopholes. Think of them like tiny cracks in a dam, a little drip here, a little trickle there, and before you know it, you've got a flood of tax avoidance on your hands. That's where our story takes us today, to the sunny shores of Indonesia. We're diving deep into the world of Indonesian tax law, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride. We've got loopholes, we've got clever taxpayers, and we've got one very astute academic who's sounding the alarm. Buckle up, folks, because things are about to get interesting. Let's talk about Article 4, Paragraph 1 of Indonesia's income tax law. It's the part of the law that defines what income actually is. Seems simple enough, right? Well, hold on to your hats, because here's where things get a little hairy. The law defines income as any additional economic capability received or earned by a taxpayer in whatever name and form, whether increasing wealth or not. Okay, that's a mouthful, but the gist is this. If you get something that makes you richer, it's probably income, and you probably have to pay taxes on it. Makes sense, right? Well, there's a problem. This definition, as it turns out, misses a pretty crucial element. Debt. That's right, according to Indonesian tax law, taking on a big old loan doesn't necessarily count as income, and that, my friends, is where the loophole appears. Enter Dr. Ismuhadi, a sharp-eyed academic who noticed something fishy about Indonesia's tax code. He realized that because debt wasn't explicitly included in the definition of income, savvy taxpayers could potentially exploit this oversight. Imagine this. You take out a massive loan, then turn around and use that money to buy a fancy car, invest in property, or just generally live it up. Now, you might be thinking, but John, you still have to pay that loan back. That's not free money. And you'd be right, but here's the thing. The Indonesian tax code, as it stands, doesn't really care where that money came from or where it's going. As long as you're not technically richer on paper because you've got this big loan hanging over your head, it's like the taxman doesn't even see it. And that, my friends, is a problem. So, what's the solution? Dr. Ismuhadi has a surprisingly simple suggestion. Just add a few words to the definition of income. He proposes including the phrase, or to reduce debts, liabilities. Seems like a small change, right? But don't let its simplicity fool you. This tiny tweak could have a huge impact by acknowledging that using borrowed money to reduce debt is a form of economic benefit. It closes the loophole and ensures that people can't simply borrow their way out of paying their fair share. Will this fix everything? Of course not. Tax law is complex, and there will always be people looking for creative ways to avoid paying taxes. But by plugging this loophole, Indonesia can take a big step towards creating a fairer and more equitable tax system. And that, my friends, is something worth fighting for.